So, continuing on, another 4 or 5 minute stretch. In fact, it's all kind of not awkward per se, but it's all just like all segmented, partitioned off into what seem to be these almost miniature trials of sorts that are separated by little sections. And by this point, you've gotten into the rhythm of it, and you know, okay, well, we have a few more minutes, and then we reach this next thing. Eventually, it now leads to a room that opens up, and the inside is different than what you've seen to this point. You had the room with the doors that had like the tree roots in it. This one opens to a room that is pretty large. So it's still circular, maybe 200 feet in circumference, pretty good size. And inside of it, what you really see is a lot of moss growing on the walls, especially, even some up on the ceiling. It's all very, like, the air is more damp in here. You still kind of feel the wetness that you experienced in that previous room. In the center of the room, there is a large well, or at least what it looks to be. It's hard to tell until you go inspect it, perhaps, but has a look of one. Sticks up about maybe waist high for most of you. Some are obviously shorter than others. The thing that strikes you is there are no doors, at least as far as you can tell as you first walk in.
I'm going to inspect the well once I realize there's no doors.
Okay, make an investigation check.
Okay.
I'm
5.
gonna stab my sword at some of the moss.
Okay. It's real, and it kind of gets on your sword a little bit, and it's a little dirty.
I'm going to ask Lena what she's seeing over there in the well.
What am I seeing with a 5?
It has water in it.
It
does.
Filled with water.
It does seem to have water with it. Even a 5, you can tell like that looks like water.
There has to be more than that. What's under the surface? And I'm going to roll an investigation. And it's an 8, so that's good.
It's got water in it.
Oh my god.
Seems pretty deep. It goes down into what appears to be darkness. You can't really tell from the surface.
It appears to be water.
Well, I'm gonna look only because it's really the only interesting thing other than this moss.
Yeah.
So might as well make a check too.
Okay.
22 because I crit. 22.
Natural 20.
Natural 20. Yeah.
Thank God.
Despite the fact that you don't have dark vision like some of your companions, the thing that catches your eye just before it gets too dark to see is that the well goes straight down, and then just at the very edge of how far you can see into it, it goes off at a right angle.
Oh, God.
There are no other doors in this room, right?
As far as you can tell. You can always check out the walls and stuff if you'd like, but at least from a quick sweep, no.
Tessian kind of gets to the edge, looks down, and it's just like, it appears that we'll be traveling underwater for a bit here.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And then I look again because I'm trying to see what he's seeing, but I can't.
And he'll point it out. He'll be like, there's a path at the bottom.
Okay.
I don't like
turned
this.
white.
Oh.
And I whispered to Grell, you may not know this because I was in a submarine at Dunosk's, but I'm not a big fan of water. My brother used to like to do a thing when we were young where he would hold me under the surface until I just about lost my breath. Suffice it to say, I have never really liked water since, and now a tunnel is going underwater.
Sounds like torture to me.
This was not great. I wish I could say I was over it. But I'm looking at a tunnel underwater, and I can safely assure you I'm not.
Are we sure we can't
to hold your breath for a long time?
Yeah, I don't think it helped, Karash. I was screaming, so not good.
That is not how you hold your breath.
No, lung air retention was not high.
Is there any way to remove this water? Is it so deep that we can't actually? Is there like a bucket or anything? I mean, I know that sounds silly, but like, does it look like there's any indication that we could remove this water?
Oh, as you guys are having this conversation, Tessian just gets into the well and will swim to the bottom.
Okay,
Oh,
well,
okay.
Okay.
It's really just like basically because Grail's like, is there a way to remove it? And he's like, He thinks to himself like, maybe there is a lever down there. So he's just gonna go see what's at the bottom.
And I would answer Grail, of course there's no way to remove it because that would make the challenge too easy. And there Tessian goes. So great.
Tessian, as you go into the water, it's acidic.
Ooh, fun!
Yay!
Excited.
You're already kind of still wet from your previous encounter with getting across the stream, so you quickly take to it, and you're also not unused to water being from Black Harbor. And swimming down, you still have light active?
Yeah.
Okay. You swim down. The sides of this are sort of made of the same cobblestone that the well itself was on the exterior, so it's not nearly as smooth as all these carved-in walls have been to this point. With the additional help of your source of light, you're able to swim down. That right angle comes at maybe 60 feet down, and then heads off.
That's deep.
Yeah, heads off basically straight from where you came into the room, except obviously instead of walking on and above the surface as you has been to this point, going straight, now it's going underneath. At least from there, you can choose if you want to go further or not, but from there you can't see an end to the path. It goes ahead, off past the length of your light spell.
60 feet!
Yeah, and to be fair, my light spell, I mean, I don't know how well light does in water. I mean, it's magic. I don't know. But normally I think only goes like 40 feet to begin with. So you just see the light just literally disappear at the bottom of this well.
Well,
Don't like
he's dead.
He died. I need a new Tessian.
Yeah.
Thea, you want to be a new Tessian?
He goes up. Once he's seen that, like, this does look like it's the right path. I assume he doesn't see any, like, levers or whatever down here.
You can make a perception check.
I mean, without seeing, like, noticeable grates, he's not even sure where the water would go. So, 16?
Yeah, looking about, at least from the range that you can from your magic, which, again, 40 to 60 feet, not too far. Just stone as far as the eye can see. You don't see any notches or any grates or anything that would seem to indicate that this is drainable.
Okay. Then he's just going to swim back up to the top, and once he gets up there, he'll be like, I don't see any levers or anything of the sort, but it does appear that that's the direction forward. The path continues in the same direction we've been heading, but it's about 60 feet down.
60.
And I did not see an end at all, so it will be quite a trip.
How long was he down there for?
Not terribly long, maybe 30, 40 seconds between the time down, looking around a bit, and up.
You were down there for 40 seconds. That means I'm going to have to hold my breath for at least that long. Probably more.
Tessin will straight up be like, I definitely would not suggest we all attempt this necessarily. Well, it's going to be a trip. I didn't see an end to this tunnel.
Well, Karash, I mean, this would appear to have your name. This seems like a task suited well for you.
Might be muted.
No, just thinking.
Okay.
My childhood name was Deep Diver. I can swim for a long time.
Well, Karash, Deep Diver of the Thunder, it looks like your time is here.
That is not. When we are young, we have nicknames. They do not call me Karash when I was a child.
You're right. That's my bad.
That is silly.
Are you going to swim or not, Karash?
Yeah, I can. Tessian has the ability to breathe underwater, does he not?
Yeah, and I actually I have a swim speed. Like I move at 30 feet underwater instead of half. Like I'm perfectly fine.
Oh, you just legit breathe underwater.
I legit
he can hold his breath indefinitely.
Well, actually, when he comes up, you can see that there are little slits on the side of his neck.
I forgot about that.
No,
I thought Air Genasi just didn't have to breathe; they could hold their breath indefinitely.
That is true. He is not just an Air Genasi. He can breathe underwater. That I know. It's complicated.
To be fair, Isaac missed that too because he's freaking out. So he forgot.
If you want to go first, you have the light.
Tessian's like, I will gladly go forward, but And he looks to Lena. He's like, at the very least, Lena, you'll have to follow at some point. This is your journey. Do you have any way of following along? It is too long, I suspect, even for you to last just holding your breath.
Yeah, that is my concern too, and I kind of give him a nod and say, I know I'm going to have to go with you. I'm just not sure how.
I'm not convinced that this is the only way to get to the next room. I mean, we've had to use cunning and intelligence to do this. This feels like sheer holding our breath. Like, there might be something on the other side that can help us.
Should we look around more?
I don't know. This is beyond me. This is beyond me and Isaac, and I think Lena as well. I don't think that this is the only way forward.
I don't want to volunteer you for something that mortifies me, but maybe it would behoove you to go to the other side and see if there's something you can figure out there.
Right.
Tessian's like, sure. So this is a bit of a meta thing. Michaela, have you looked at...
Oh.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, did we just lose all of Skype?
No.
Oh, no, we're back.
Okay. Whew.
We missed,
That was weird.
we
Yeah.
missed you asking Lena if she...
I know. Did
If
you?
I had-
Whoa.
Sorry, if you've looked at your spell list recently, Miss Michaela.
I'm
This
looking
is
right now.
It's the meta pigeon. Like,
Breathe water, maybe?
you're a druid. you have water walking and water breathing.
I have water breathing too? I thought I just had water walking. Am I crazy? Hold on,
Well,
I'm
look
looking.
at your list.
I'm looking at my list.
I mean, I don't know if you've like chosen it for the day or if like it's on the list that like Chris gave you, because like we're trying to not give you like 30 million spells because there's a lot, but just Tessian in game has no problem going to the end of this. This is me as a player being like, hey, if you guys want to follow along, we're not like up shit creek here.
I think we had her take. Well, I think she took Call Lightning and
Call Lightning
Water
and Water
Walk
Walk were the two
as
that
her
I took
first
the most recently.
first third level spells.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we're kind of partitioning them out to make it a little easier to digest in the spell list.
Yeah, let's just totally fine. Just so you're aware, Michaela, as a whole, water breathing should be a thing that you have.
Water Walk could be a thing here.
Huh. I'm looking. Gonna read it again.
There is a thing there.
Move across any surface.
So I guess if you cast it on yourself, well, she already did cast it on herself, so would she be able to even get down 60 feet to like go up? Or is it like you're just buoyant now?
Yeah, I don't know. How does that work?
That's for an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, you're kind of like prevented from going down in the water, essentially, unless you choose to drop the spell. But
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll probably drop it in that case since it's not going to help me.
You don't have a
this.
fishy form?
No, unfortunately I don't. It's like the one thing I don't have is water stuff.
didn't have a reason to in the Sowen Wood.
It's true. Lived in the forest, in the trees.
There's like a lake, but that's about it, and it's small.
Yeah.
But Tessian is like, sure, I'll go look ahead, see if there's anything, see what's on the other side.
Be safe.
And he gives everyone a nod and gives Thea an extra nod, like, I will do my best not to die. And then, and then he'll go.
I'll go with you. I'll take my armor off and go with you.
Okay. And before he goes, he does make sure to, this is going to sound weird, but he will make sure to take a breath because he can hold that breath indefinitely, and then if need to, he can breathe underwater. But he's holding that breath in case he has to pull a hook and help give mouth to mouth to Karash underwater. This could be like 300, like the mermaids. This could be like 300 feet of underwater. Your amount of breathing underwater may not cover it, on top of any traps or anything else.
Like just as like backstory. Literally, like an exceptionally strong swimmer, like and deep diver, and like pearl diving and spear diving in 100-ish feet of water. So this becomes an issue.
1,000 feet of water.
It's not that he doesn't believe you. It's just like
I'm just
what if there's traps or spikes and
you're going
stuck?
first, so no worries.
Yeah. Okay.
You guys were water bros back in the very beginning at the Hag's Haven in Segura Cove.
Right. This is a precaution. Okay, it's a precaution. It's
A prophylactic measure.
Yes.
All right. So Tessie and Karash are going.
I hope you guys decide to light another torch because all your light sources just went away.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask somebody if I can borrow a dagger before I go in.
I think I have an extra one that I can give you. I don't really use them, so I'll give you
Yes.
Cool, pirate style.
Yeah, as I say, you're gonna mouth it. Yeah.
I'll go ahead and light I have a hooded lantern that I'll put up.
Okay. It gives you some solace because, as they mentioned, your light sources are leaving, and while Lena can see in the dark, you and Isaac cannot. Thea can too. All right, so Tessie and Karash, go ahead and make me an athletics check, please.
Gross.
Nat 1.
I mean, if I get a nat 1, it's 0.
21.
5.
You guys start your descent and then head to the right angle part. And Karash, even though you've let Tessian lead, it's almost frustrating because you want to go faster than he is. But there's not really room to get around him in this tunnel. So you're just kind of sort of help pushing him along a little bit as he swims. He's not doing that poorly. He doesn't look like he's like floundering in the water, but you're like, okay, I have enough swimming ability that I can swim with one arm and my two legs and kind of push you along too.
Hold on. I have a swim speed. I have webs on my fingers. I can move twice as fast as he can naturally. I know I rolled poorly, but I'm just saying.
You're also going into what it turns out at the very bottom to be a current.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I'm just
that is pushing against you, which you couldn't really tell until you got into that tunnel down below. Makes the swimming difficult. And you continue to progress, and it takes you about 3 minutes before you finally see the right angle that goes back up, seemingly to the surface. And as you swim up, you pop your head out. There's a well. There's a ceiling. If you want to climb out of the well, it's up to you.
Nothing other than the current. Nothing else along the way, right? No landmarks or
no traps,
features or anything?
No features, just cobblestones. Nothing popped out. No grates for the water to escape from. Just a path. And
so not even a source for the current?
Nope.
Okay. Important to know. Just, get up and look around for a second.
And you're in a room much the same as the one that you left from. Mossy, circular, does have another door in it, facing basically the same direction that you were swimming. Leads forward, apparently. Nothing else catches your eye in the room.
Okay.
If we bring back the rope, we can tie it around the well and drop it down, and then they can use that to pull themselves through.
Tessie nods. I think that might be a good idea, yes.
I don't 3 minutes? Are you insane? I can't do that.
It'll go a little quicker, but I have a similar concern, so we'll...
If we do it one at a time, and you're pulling yourself on the rope, and I'm pulling the rope on the other end...
And then I hit my head on the wall, pass out, inhale water.
Casino Royale.
Tessie agrees, though. If we tie the rope to them, if we can get a rope long enough and tie it to them on the other end, we can attempt to pull them from this end as they go along, and I might be able to follow along with them, and if need be, I could probably give them some air.
Back.
I know.
Can I want to ask
on the other side, yeah.
Lena something. Lena,
okay.
And maybe I should know this already, but was there themes for the Conatus, different shrine having a different theme? Because I dare say this is a water theme. And of course, it's the first one we go to. Just had to be water.
I don't remember, Chris, if my grandmother mentioned elemental stuff, but I would probably suspect as much. And
She did not say, but even the whispers that you've heard about this, because for the most part, the journey is meant to be about discovery, and the details of it are kept relatively secretive because they want you to have to experience them and overcome them. But there is definitely at least some connection to the elements through it, one way or the other. You're not entirely sure what, but it does fit your understanding, yes.
I'll kind of relay that, essentially, that it makes sense given what we know, but yes, it is a shame about the emphasis on water. How on earth did your brother do all of that to you? I keep hearing whispers about your brother's actions, and it baffles me.
Yeah, he's not a great guy. That's the short version. That's how we did it. I didn't know at the time, but it sounds like he's taking after my father. And I look at Thea and I say, I should probably be more secretive, but I'm sure Tessian has told you my connection. He's told everyone else that we've come across, so why not you?
And she kind of chuckles. She says, it may have come up.
I'm sure it has. I'm sure it has. So what about you? Can you breathe underwater as well?
God.
I don't
In
believe
fact,
she
yes, I can. I
can.
was being sarcastic.
I think so. I should have her sheet up, and I should.
I don't know that she can.
She'll have to struggle like the rest of you.
Yep. She does not have alter self, which would have been the one way I think a sorcerer can do that normally.
Come on, load. There we go.
Yeah. Although she can cast enhance ability to make it a little easier to swim.
Yep.
That's about all she could do.
And she can control flames, so then if there's any fire in the water, then...
Great. See, Elena, this is what I'm talking about. We could have had the flame temple first. Instead, we had water and holding breath. Holding breath temple. This is bullshit.
To be fair, water temples are literally always the worst.
It's true.
I mean, that's true. But Isaac doesn't know that.
I like the water temple.
Isaac has never played Ocarina of Time.
I'll just pat your shoulder and say, we'll get through this.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be okay.
Sure.
I can't breathe or hold my breath underwater either, but we'll get through this. I'm sure Tessian and Karash have figured something out.
Yeah, speaking of which, they've been gone for about 5, 10, 20 minutes now.
5:10, yeah. So you guys are going...
So we're going to come back.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
So you're going to tie the rope, and then Karash, you're going to stay there and pull on it, and Tessian, you're going to go back and let him know what to look for?
Well, we were going to go back and get the rope because we don't actually have any with us yet.
Ah, okay.
So,
Well, we're in trouble if we don't have the rope. We have to go all the way back because we left it in the cart.
Well, I've got my pack, so I have at least 50 feet in my bag, but that's not enough for this.
That's true.
I have one thing of rope, hempen rope. I just one though. I mean, we have to tie all the shit together, but
Yeah, how many feet of rope do we have? Do we all have 50 feet of rope?
A lot of people
we
start
all-
with it.
Yeah.
probably.
So you might get 300 out of it.
Okay, I do have 50, so that's at least 3
I have
so
50.
far.
Yeah.
We
Thea's
don't
got
need the full
50.
300, though. We just need down to the bottom.
Well, but ideally, if we could cover the whole thing, it would make the whole thing easier. But yeah, as much. So do Isaac and Lena have rope?
I'm not
I think so. I
seeing
don't know,
any
though.
in my items, but that doesn't mean it's not here.
Can't you prestidigitate some rope or something?
Jesus. No, that is not a thing that he can do. Do you know how easy D&D would be if you could prestidigitate items to help you? Oh, it looks like we need some rope. Woo! Oh, a crowbar. Woo! Traps? I guess we need some trap thingies. Woo!
It'd be kind of fun, though.
I'm not a conjurer. A conjurer can do some of that stuff. A wizard conjurer. They can.
Not a conjure of cheap tricks.
Good.
Okay, so Tessian comes back up the other side, and it's just like, well, everyone, there's some good news and some bad news. The bad news is that, well, it's a long trip. How long was the tunnel, Chris, between the two 60-foot?
Oh,
300
probably
feet?
300-400 feet, somewhere in there, yeah.
There's about 300 or so feet of tunnel down there against a current, magical in nature as far as I can tell, and then another 60-foot ascension to the top of another identical room to this one.
Good, excellent. That's great. All good news.
Tisson's like, our plan is to get as much rope as we can, tie it all together, and then if we go one at a time, Karash can pull from the other end while we swim, an assisted swim, so to speak, to help fight against the current and such. I can help along the way. You know,
Current? There's current down there?
Great, yes, and they want to pull us through like fish on the end of a net.
No, you don't use it. That's not how nets work. Normally, the fish are in the net, and you pull the. It's not important. It's not.
But we have a plan. We'll just want to gather as much rope as we can and see what we can do. I don't know that we'll have enough to cover the tunnel, but at least if we could help out towards the end, that might be enough.
How narrow does the tunnel get?
It's pretty uniform the whole way. About as wide. I don't know how big the well is. It's about as big as the well.
Well, at least there's that. I was figuring I'd have to shimmy my way through.
Ugh.
This is not Tomb Raider. You do that in Tomb Raider. It's claustrophobic.
So pulling on a rope is our best plan. I don't blame you. I'm not thinking of a better one. So
he's trying to be optimistic. He's like, look, I'm not sure if we have another choice, but best we can think of.
The only other thing I can think of is, again, I don't want to be like wasting Lena's slots, but if we cast Water Walk while we were down there, it would lift us up like immediately.
And give you the bends.
Yes, it would give us the bends.
That's actually true. So if I go through first, then come out on the other side, I could try to cast Water Walk. But it wouldn't work. Oh.
You guys would all have to swim together. Get to the end, and then you would cast it, and everyone would float up.
Oh,
yeah.
Darn.
But quickly. It's like, right? I mean...
60 feet around, so it takes 6 seconds to get to the end of that line.
That's what I mean. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But if you... I mean, again, it would take another spell slot, which we could just get pulled up by Karash, so...
I mean, there's a whole nother potential option that I sort of absolutely hate because it's really stupid and gamey, but I could use shape water to make like a helmet out of water and then freeze it so you're stuck with whatever air is in it when I freeze it, and then you go that way, but it sounds super stupid and who knows if it would work. It should in theory work, but it's stupid and I don't like it. So I would almost prefer Chris to be like, that's stupid, you can't do that, even though I think the spell technically would let me do it. I don't suggest it, for the record.
Makes me nervous.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm going to be knotting the ropes while we're doing all the talking.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably a good choice.
Okay. So, what is le plan? Who is le going?
Well, I'm going to go first because I got to take the rope to the other side and tie it up and get it all ready.
Do we have anything that can contain air that we can use for quick recharge, like halfway through? Anyone? Our magic folks, please speak up. All I have are guns.
Tessian says, the best I can do is tag along with you if you all go one at a time, and I can provide you what air I have. Assuming you don't find it too awkward.
You can de-trouser me if you want to, if it's going to mean I make it through this tunnel in one piece.
I don't think that will be necessary, but I'll keep that in mind, I think.
Thea kind of chimes in. She's like, "Are you sure, my love? It could be rather fun."
Look, Thea's a fan.
She seems to ship it.
He shrugs.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could do the rope, and if Tessian gives me a little mouth-to-mouth, that could work.
Yeah.
I'll go first. Grail, if I don't see you on the other side, it's been a pleasure.
I laugh and kind of like smack your shoulder, like go take care of business.
Oh, oh God, I don't think this works.
What?
So, can I use shape water? God, shape water. Am I right? If I can shape the water in a 5-foot square, this gets real tricky. How much air is in a 5-foot square or a 10-foot square?
Quite a bit.
Quite a
Because
bit.
couldn't I just Moses one of you guys through this?
Yeah. Right?
I mean, the first 60-foot drop's a little dicey, but in theory, if I just keep moving us down, so you sit on the top, and then I just move down 5 feet, move down 5 feet, and then just keep basically doing the reverse of the bridge, but like this with air pockets by moving the water aside.
I would rather have you start. I would rather swim to the bottom and have it start there. Because in my head, you accidentally mess it up and I fall 60 feet and break my neck.
I can't do the whole thing. I can only do it in
Yeah, you would
5-foot squares it's like 5 foot, 5 foot, 5 foot,
Yeah, you would
5
just
foot.
drop into more water.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's not so bad.
But if it catches you off guard, who knows?
Yeah, that seems like
I think Tessian should try that on his own first.
Sure, he can do that. Yeah. He'll take a breath because he can do that as an air genasi, just an unlimited breath, in case he runs out of air. No, he shouldn't. Ooh. No, he needs to see how long the air lasts. So he does not do that, and will attempt to do it. So he's just going to kind of float in the well for a second, and then kind of move his hands to space the water out above him as he kind of sinks 5 feet, and then do that again to sink another 5 feet, and then he's just going to just have like this 10-foot corridor that just slowly moves him down like a little elevator of air that he's just sort of waiting in.
It works overall.
Okay.
You get down to the bottom. Tactics seems to be holding up. Air seems to be holding up okay. Helps there's only one person in it.
Yeah. The current, though, yeah, that's going to be the problem. So then he wants to try to do the same thing with the current. Shape the water so that he can get through that.
And that becomes more difficult. You're making progress, but it's very slow going. Like, instead of being able to go 5 feet, 5 feet, 5 feet, it's kind of like half that. You're able to do it and still maintain the cube, but having to resist the force of the current trying to basically push through it is taking you additional time.
Okay, but it is doable, though, as far as he can tell. It's just...
Actually, yeah.
Okay. Gosh. Yeah, then he'll sort of let the spell fade and then swim back up to the top, and kind of pop up. Well, it works, but the current makes it slow going. You're still going to have to hold your breath, just not in water. I would suggest you try to conserve air, and I will do my best not to use up any as well.
Fine, let's do it. I'm tired of this talking about it. I just want to get it over with.
Do we want to drop the rope in first in case someone needs to grab it?
Tessian nods.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll go do that first then and tie up the rope on the other end.
Okay. That's doable. Who's going?
I'm going.
And Tessian will convene with Karash. Like we should have like a signal. So like three poles means like yank like hell. You know what I mean?
Pull.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Tessian and Isaac, that's it.
Let's do it.
Goodbye,
Everybody
Isaac.
sustain?
Yeah, well, I don't think
For now.
3 of us can fit. Or
I mean, we'd be squeezing, but yeah, we're probably gonna want to go one at a time. I don't know.
Go for it.
Okay. So, Isaac, you climb in with Tessian. And you begin the process. He lowers you down the 60 feet. Kind of gets his bearings for a half second. Heads into the current section. It's a bit slow. More than anything, the air seems to be holding up in the cube. I mean, you're trying to take as little breaths as possible, but you're able to, basically exhale and suck in some new air as you need to. So I'm not having to test the holding of your breath for it. It's more unsettling than anything else because you can still see the water all around you, and if this does happen to go wrong at any point, it could be gross.
Oh, I'm envisioning my death the whole time.
Tessie, I'm going to have you make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
This is not
This is where I die.
This is not a spell that requires checks per se, but we're going to take the whole process as needing to require you to be focused.
So it's like a concentration check. I don't have any bonus to that, but yeah, 13.
Which is enough. Despite the slow going, you're able to make it basically to the other side. Takes a good probably 6-7 minutes to do so, but it works. And you can now see, you get to the rope partway through. The mechanisms are in place, and Isaac, you can even probably just swim up from there if necessary.
I'm probably just going to swim up. If something is working, I'm going to keep doing the thing that's working. So,
well, in order to swim up, Tessian has to let the water fall. So you sort of get to the end of it, and you're like, I'll swim. I know he's just going to be like, okay, well, I'm going to drop the water then. And so, there's going to be a moment where you're just sitting looking up at water while you're in water, and then he's literally got to just let the water fall on top of you before you
Hold on to the
swim
rope.
up.
it's okay.
Yeah.
It'll be like I'm being baptized. I don't care at this point.
Okay.
Or in theory, if we're at the bottom, the rope is dangling. You could climb the rope up to the top of the water and
then
try to swim from there.
into it.
No, let it fall. Let it
Okay.
rain, baby.
Crashes down. There's a moment where you almost feel like you should, but you're pretty much clear of the current section, so you're able to swim up to the top, and you've made it.
Karash, I hate water.
It's very fun. I'm gonna help pull you out.
No, it's not fun at all, and thank you.
Okay, who's next? As Tessian goes back.
Yep. He just kind of lets the current carry him back.
I look like a wet, sad dog.
I don't have any particular. I don't care. I can go next if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm impartial. Either way.
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay. Hop in, Grail.
Okay, and then I'm gonna ask, how'd Isaac do?
Pretty well, I think. I think he was terrified the whole time, but he did well.
All right,
You
that
are
actually
correct.
gives me some confidence, so I'm ready to do this.
Thea kind of chimes in. She says, "Did you need the mouth to mouth?"
And Testing is like, just a little, but not for the air. And then he just...
And she chuckles. She's like, "Yep."
So then he just starts moving the water.
Okay. For the
Start.
sake of time, this seems to be a doable method. Grail, you make it across. It's still very unsettling in some stretches, but at the very end, if you're able to swim up as well, Crash can help pull you out of the well. Next is...
Thea. Let's have Thea go next.
Okay. So, Thea goes with Tessian, has no problem with this arrangement whatsoever. Seems surprisingly on board, even though she's not necessarily a huge fan of the water as a whole. She's kind of like, this is different. I want to try this, sure. Other people seem to have made it, so I'm in. She makes it across, and then we'll assume that people have picked up pieces of Karash's armor along the way to help him. And then, Lena, you're
Yep.
going?
I'm going.
So as you go with Tessian, and you make it to the right angle, the current reverses direction.
Oh.
It probably even catches Testing off guard a little bit, so the back of the water probably kind
It kind of presses up against you a little bit, like you're almost like, oh, geez, almost lost it. And you
Yeah.
find that traveling through it is much easier now.
Oh, frig.
Seems to have
Well.
responded to the fabled deer herself.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we just make it easy for the chosen one. Sure.
Uh-huh.
If we'd had her go first.
So it's the
Turns out-
easiest of all for Lena. You're shuttled through quicker than anybody else was, even them swimming originally. And you all make it to the other side Wet, a little bit unsettled, some more than others, but A-okay.
And Tessian will use shape water to dry everyone off. Just pull the water off people.
I had my shirt off and I was letting it like dry, and so when you just pull it off, I'm like, well, and I put it back on.
All right, heading onward.
Yeah.
Karash takes the 20 minutes to put on armor, whatever the hell. Who cares?
10, I think.
Unless you're in a pressing time, I don't give a damn about the Dawn Duff rules. But let's be honest, they're dumb. But tosses his armor back on, and he's ready to go. And once you open the door that leads out of the circular chamber, the thing that strikes you is everything is different. The next room has a large staircase that leads down. And inside this room at the bottom, as you kind of head down, at least to where the staircase ends and you can see into the room without actually going into it yet, you see an expansive opening. If those rooms were maybe 200 feet in circumference, this is at least 3 times that, if not more. And given the low light that you have from the torches and the spells that you have at your disposal, you can't even see the ceiling. So it's at least 60 feet up, if not God knows how much. Among the other things you see are that the room opens up into a pretty flat, grassy ground, which strikes you as bizarre, being underground. And it leads up to what appears to be a rounded platform in the center with some kind of rectangular, you're not entirely sure if it's a coffin or a table or what it is, but it stands basically as tall as Karash and Isaac. It's a good 6, maybe 7 feet tall. And you can see that just from looking across the room. Like, that's big.
Great. What do you think is next? I'm hoping for waterboarding, personally.
I'm just going to start walking towards it.
Okay.
And
Tessie does let everyone know. As we were moving through, the current shifted as soon as Lena went through. I think it would be best if we let her go first from here on out. It seems to react to her being the one to move through it.
Makes sense.
So we'll follow Lena's lead, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Cat.
Cat Natus.
Okay.
Lena, as you approach the dais, as you get within maybe 100 feet, you are almost blinded by a sudden flash of light.
okay.
And it's familiar light.
Mm-hmm.
Bright, almost inescapable, and yet it doesn't hurt your eyes. It just makes it difficult to see, and your instinct is to flinch away from it, and yet as you are in it for just a moment, you realize this is similar to the vision that you had when you were in Falstock.
Mm-hmm.
And as that light now kind of fades back in, you see a female form. Very petite. Maybe 5'2" tops. Shorter than you. Since you're, 5'8" or so. Like, definitely shorter than you.
Mm-hmm.
Long, flowing robes. But the thing that catches your eye is there's no skin color or outfit color. It's all this bluish white, sparkling form. Seems almost translucent. You can kind of see the back of the cave behind her to an extent. It looks as though it's almost like a spectral form and not a tangible one. And she looks at you as you approach, and she says, "Greetings, Fable dear. I am Aurelia. I see you have come to attempt the conatus."
And I give her a nod and say, I've heard stories about you. How is this possible? How am I seeing you right now?
She kind of gives a welcoming chuckle. It's not like a chuckle that sounds discordant or sick. It's kind of like a very airy and light. And she says, "Well, my child, all things are possible with the conatus, but not all are worthy to reap its benefits." She's looking at you expectantly. Like she wants a response from you of some kind, even though she has not asked a question.
God, how do I even respond to this? I say something to the effect of, I am devoted to this journey and the benefits it can bring to both the Sowenwood and the entire continent of Aramea, and I am willing to do what it takes to benefit everyone and succeed on this journey.
She gives you kind of a knowing nod, and she says, "That is a good answer. The Cornatus is about so much more than oneself. Even though it's all about one person, it's also about their impact in the world, what they can do to improve change, and the companions they choose to keep." And she's kind of gesturing like a sweeping motion across the room that's essentially focused at the rest of you sort of standing back from Lena. And she says, "But it is not enough to speak your motivations. You must also prove yourself to me. Ready yourself!" And you watch as her form shifts. She already seems formless in a sense because of the spectral nature of her, but out of her back, wings unfurl, and the elvish form slowly turns into what several of you are already somewhat familiar with to some extent. She has turned into a full-fledged dragon.
Now we're talking.
And I will have you roll for initiative next time on the Anachroschism.
A form you're all familiar with. A succubus.
Yeah.
Well,
Final,
that's weird.
but a bigger one.
Thinking about that.
She's a succubus harpy hybrid.
She kisses
Oh my
Grail.
God.
Grail loves it and then kills Tessie.